Hi scholars, welcome back to the latest video on Map of English. Today we are actually going to be looking at a long essay, okay? But if you're a Form 1 to Form 5 student, do not skip this video, do not leave this video just yet. Stay, even though the word count exceeds what you're normally used to, but I want you to stay because I want you to learn how to write introductions, new vocabularies, and maybe you can even pick up a few sentences that you can use in your essays, okay? However, this video is especially useful to UEC students, IGCSE students, and even adults who are just looking to improve their essays, their writing skills, okay? Because this essay is actually written by one of my UEC students, so I thought that I'll share her work with you guys, and you can see how well she has written her essay. But before we begin the video explanation, I just want to do a little bit of promotion of myself. As some of you may know, I have an offline essay class where I let you do 4 sets of essays every week. Okay, so within that month, you have to complete those essays and submit to me for marking. And I think based on my previous videos, you would know that I do things in a very detailed manner. So after marking your essays, I will also tell you what you need to improve, okay, and what you are already doing well and you should continue improving or maintaining that standard. Aside from that, at the end of the month of each month, I will also send out model essays, okay, sample essays that I wrote myself for you to read, okay, and it's very, very cheap. The class is only 50 ringgit per month, so you should definitely sign up for class. And if you have any more inquiries, you're more than welcome to come and message me on my Telegram, which I'll be leaving in the YouTube description. Okay, so without further ado, let us just dive into the topic. Okay, the essay title that we are looking today is titled Benefits of Reading. Okay, so for starters here, I already need to explain something already. Okay, benefits of reading. So because this is a title, you need to capitalize it. Okay, and because benefits is more than one, that's why it has to be plural. We need to have S. Singular, it will be benefit, and no way in the whole entire essay you'll just only be writing one benefit. So that's why our title has to be correct as well. Benefits of reading. Okay, let's take a look at what my student has written for her first paragraph. I'll read it out loud first before my explanation, okay? In this era, young people are constantly glued to their phones. Cell phone addiction is somehow similar as drug addiction. Thus, parents should cultivate their children's interest in reading. There are a lot of advantages of reading. Reading can relax our minds and souls, improve our writing skills, expand our vocabulary, and improve our thinking process. Okay, so her first paragraph is actually well done. Okay, I like her points where she talked about how cell phone addiction is somehow similar as drug addiction. We can't say they are the same because if a person is addicted to drugs and the drugs is taken away from them, they would, basically go crazy, right? Because they got those drug withdrawals, they would be sweating and all over the place. And if a person has their cell phone taken away from them, they won't have this kind of reaction. Okay, so I thought this was a really good point. Just that she had a slightly wrong usage of her grammar, of her vocabulary. Okay, I also like her beginning when she talked about in this era what's going on. Okay, and thus parents should cultivate their children's interest in reading. So parents should basically make it a practice for their children to read. Okay, that's what she meant by this. So that is great. And she also mentioned that there is actually a lot of advantages of reading, which are blah 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 blah. Okay, but these 4 points is actually her summary of the benefits of writing, of her 4 points that she is going to be writing in her essays later. Okay, it's not wrong, but for me, I don't encourage my students to do this. Why? Because you imagine if you're going to go watch a movie, right? And you must, of course, be looking at the trailer first. And if the trailer already tells you what's the ending, are you going to go watch the movie? No, right? Because you already know the plot and what's going to happen and what's going to end and all those things. So I don't really encourage you all to use this kind of method to write your introduction. What she can actually do instead, right, is to talk about the current situation we are in. Do students read a lot? Do teenagers read a lot? Or are they more absorbed towards their phones and they just ignore reading altogether. These kind of things we can write about our observation, okay? If you're not really sure on how to write your introduction, no worries, I got your back, okay? Look at the screen right now on the right side, okay, upper right side of the screen. You will actually see that I'm linking one of my videos, okay, that I'm teaching. In that video, I will be teaching you how to write your introduction of your essay. So after finishing this video, you should definitely check out that video, okay? Alright, so let's move on to the first paragraph that was written by my student. First off, reading can relax our minds and souls. A good book can bring us relaxation and let us have the opportunity to let our head down. When we read a novel, we will bring ourselves into the story and start to imagine that we are the characters of the story. We can experience a different life through our imagination. Even if we had a stressful day, a good read can easily distract us from our own problems temporarily. Okay, so here she started off with her first point, which is reading can help to relax our minds and souls. Again, because we use our, so minds and souls need to be in plural. Okay, because our is more than one person, right? So a book can bring us relaxation. So I just added a description for her, an adjective, a good book. Okay, and let us have the opportunity to let our hair down. Okay, let our hair down is actually an idiom. I'm not going to explain to you what does it mean. You can go and check out what does it mean in my last week's video. I'll again link it here on the upper right corner of my video, so you can go and check out that video and see what does let our hair down mean. Okay, it's an idiom, yeah, by the way. Okay, so the part here where I crossed out, you can see it's quite a long cross, yeah. Here she's talking about nowadays people are feeling very stressed out because of their hectic schedules, and we can actually read books after working or studying. These sentences here, she can actually move it to the front in the beginning. Okay, like maybe she can actually start off, like give us a little bit of background of what's going on in today's society, like what's the relationship between society and reading nowadays. Okay, so she can actually start off by saying, well, let me see, what does she have here? Okay, nowadays everyone experiences stress because of their day-to-day activities. Reading can actually relax, which is why reading is important, because it can relax our minds and souls, and blah 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 blah. Okay, she can continue by talking. You see a little bit of background of what is going on. Okay, so later on she elaborated by saying that when we read a novel, we will actually be bringing ourselves into the story, or I gave her a suggestion, we will bring ourselves into a whole new world and start to imagine that we are the characters of the story. Because some people like me, I'm a big fangirl. Okay, so when I read stories, when I read comics and all those things, when I watch movies, I will also imagine that if I'm a character in that movie, what would I be doing, what would I be feeling if that particular event or that particular thing happened to me. Okay, so that's why she further elaborated by saying that we can experience a different life through our imagination, right? When we imagine that we are the characters, we are using our imagination and our creativity. Okay, and then she also mentioned it's like a more logical thing. If we have a stressful day, okay, a good read can help us to feel more relaxed, okay, easily distract us from our own problems. But obviously it's just temporarily, okay, because your problems won't disappear after you read something that you like. Okay, so that is her first point, which is to relax our minds and souls. And let's take a look at her second point. The second benefit of reading is that it can improve our writing skills. There are many excellent writers such as J.K. Rowling in the market. The most popular novel series which she has written is Harry Potter. We can learn many beautiful sentences from her books. We can use them in our essays or assignments. Besides, there are a lot of descriptions of an action and characters in these novels, which will be useful for one's examination, as it will help students to raise their scores and pass their examinations with flying colors. Okay, here, right, very good elaboration. Just that, the second benefit, we are talking about the second benefit, but we are still talking about one benefit. So that's why the benefits that she originally wrote an S there, I crossed it out for her, of reading, is that it can improve our writing skills. Writing skills only has one T, yeah, by the way. And then she started off by giving us a little bit of like background story, saying that there's many excellent writers in the market, okay, such as J.K. Rowling, and the most popular novel series that she has written is Harry Potter. So we introduced this writer, and of course when you introduce a celebrity, you will introduce like what movie she was starring in, or what work she has done, and all those things, right? So same goes for this. When you introduce an author, you must also talk about what was her most popular work, which is the Harry Potter series. And the word written is pronounced as written, not written, and there's 2 T's, okay? And then here, after she talked about this author, giving us a background, she went back by elaborating and telling us how does reading improve our writing skills. Okay, it's when we can learn a lot of beautiful sentences from the books, and we can use these sentences in our essays and assignments. This one you can see, she can actually shorten this. We can learn many beautiful sentences. We can use them. Okay, this one you can cross out and say that we can learn many beautiful sentences from her books and use them in our essays or assignments. Okay, for me, I prefer it if you use linking words. Okay, besides, there are a lot of descriptions. Okay, you need to have S because it's more than one description of an action and characters in these novels. And then when we read a lot of those descriptions and all those things, right, we will learn how to use the descriptions, and especially in our essays, as if we are writing those narrative essays, right? Okay, it's those essays that are stories. Okay, let me write it down for you. They are stories. Okay, and then when you are able to improve your sentences, not necessarily you must improve your grammar, but if you have a really good description on what is going on, you will sure get a good score. Okay, pass one's examinations with flying colors is an idiom. It means to have a good score, a great score. Okay, so that is the second point, which is to improve our writing skills. Let's move on to the third point. Furthermore, we can learn more vocabulary through reading. Okay, that is her third point. Just now she did mention that we can learn beautiful sentences and all those things, and if she mentioned any vocabularies, learn new vocabularies in the beginning, it's okay, because she didn't elaborate on that point yet. So that's why she can open up a new paragraph and to elaborate on this point. And you can see this is her best paragraph actually. Okay, reading forces us to look at words that we might have not seen or heard before. Reading can allow us to understand the meaning and usage of the words as we would want to understand the content we are reading. It is a habit that should be encouraged among children at an early age. This is significant because reading can increase children's vocabulary and spelling more than talking or direct teaching. Thus, parents should cultivate their children's interest in reading. Okay, fantastic point here. Okay, like I said, this is her best paragraph. Okay, so in this paragraph, she is actually elaborating on how we can learn more vocabulary through reading. Okay, because when we are reading a story, when we are reading a comic, if we come across a word, a vocabulary that we have not seen before, we have to look out for the meaning of the words so that we can understand what's going on in the story. Okay, so that is her elaborating the process. Okay, right here. Okay, why do we use the word forces? Okay, because when you read that word, when you're reading a story, you are forced to look at that word, right? But by your own free will. So when you look at the word that you don't understand, you need to look out for the meaning. So in order to understand the content, in order to understand what's going on in the story and all those things. And I don't want her to keep repeating the word reading. You can see, she said the word reading here. And then in the beginning of the next sentence, she also said reading. And in the third sentence, she also said reading again. So it's getting kind of old. So we changed a way of writing. Instead of always saying reading, we can say it is a habit, because it is actually a habit that should be encouraged among children. Okay, ever since they are young. Do not say ever since they are small. Okay, small is size. This is ever since they are young. We are talking about the age. Okay, and then she gave reasonings why we should encourage this habit. Okay, because this is actually a very good observation that she did also. Okay, increase the children's vocabulary and spelling more than talking or direct teaching. Why is direct teaching? When you go to class, I teach you something, that is direct teaching. Okay, maybe sometimes you don't have the mood to go and learn, and I teach you something, it's not going to go into your brain because you're not paying attention to me. And if we are talking, you can't learn spelling. Okay, it's not like I'm talking to you and then I suddenly spell the word to you, right? Like, okay, talking, like for example, the sentence, if I tell you, oh, reading is such a good activity, it will be very random if I suddenly start to spell the word activity to you, right? So we can't learn spelling through talking. So that's why we need to read more. When we read more, we will also, know like the grammar rules, the spelling, learn new words, all those things. Okay? All right, our last point, not our last paragraph, but our last point, which is, last but not least, reading can improve our thinking process. Okay, so let's see how does she elaborate on this point. Reading books require readers to think and imagine different details of a book, right? Of a topic. Okay, so yeah, it stimulates your thinking. Maintaining or sustaining, whichever word you all want to use, a habit of reading can make our brains absorb more information, especially for students. Okay, when you absorb the more info, I think you all should know this by now, like the more information you have, the more knowledge you have, it is actually more advantageous to you. Okay, which is why we should always read to gain more information and knowledge. Okay, so she further elaborate, because she said especially for students. Why not anyone else, right? So she further explained why she mentioned students. Okay, students need to be prepared for the exam and memorize their lesson materials. If we do not train our brains to exercise, in the long run, our brain power will be degenerated. Okay, here, see her description is not bad. Okay, just that I needed to help her to like make her description slightly better. But her idea is great. Okay, so students, we all need to take exams, right? And we need to go and memorize our lesson materials, such as like your history, your geography, and your maths, your science, and all those things you need to memorize. Okay, but however, if we don't exercise or we don't train our brains to memorize our lesson materials, right, in the future we will have terrible memories. Okay, our brain power will be horrible. We can't remember anything, and that will be chaotic, especially when you go to work. Okay, because there's a lot of things you need to remember. Okay, so that's why having like a strong brain power, a strong memory is actually really, really important. Okay, besides, reading will help students, or reading will aid students improve their concentration, since they must concentrate when reading a book. So this is another benefit, okay, of reading, okay, that she categorized under the thinking process. Because like when we concentrate on what we are reading, okay, we are able to remember the content better, and of course able to understand the content a lot better. Okay, and then when we are able to concentrate on what we are reading, okay, it allows us to think about the issue, about the problem, maybe even come up with solutions and ideas on how to solve the issue. Okay, she can actually elaborate more on this. Alright, finally, we have reached the conclusion. You can see her conclusion. It's actually not bad. It's just that I feel like I needed to add a couple of sentences for her, because it feels like the ending is not that satisfying. Okay, in conclusion, parents and schools need to cultivate children's interest in reading. Don't let them become addicted to their mobile phones. We need to promote the benefits of reading by holding a campaign, or even better, being role models ourselves. This is significant as we know reading can relax our minds and souls, improve our writing skills, expand our vocabulary knowledge, and strengthen our thinking process. There's really just pros to reading, and hence, everyone, regardless of their ages, should make it a point to pick up a good book every now and then. So later on, I will come out, like I said earlier, I'm not sure whether it's this video or the Chinese version. I will come up with like maybe a podcast, or like even some teaching video on how to write your conclusion. Okay, so yeah, no worries, but here I'll just briefly explain to you guys. One of the methods you can write your conclusion is to summarize the points, which is what she did. Okay, and you can change out your vocabulary, your description a little bit, but if you can't, it's fine. You can use back the same words that you used earlier. Okay, and she also did a lot of call to action, okay, which is great. Okay, you should who should do this, and we should do that, and all these things. Okay, so yeah, it's very, very easy. Okay, so we end our essay by talking about readings has only benefits. There's no drawbacks when it comes to reading. So no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, you should definitely read. Okay, so yeah, that is the end of our essay, okay, of the day, of the week, or of the month. So I hope, based on my explanation, I hope that you guys have learned new knowledge from this video. Okay, leave it in the comment section and maybe type out, like, let's have like a little interaction or conversation going on in the comment section. You can tell me who you are. Okay, don't tell me your personal information, who you are, as in like whether you are a SBM student, UEC student, IGCSE student, or whether you're an adult, okay? And you talk about, what have you learned from this video? Anything new, or, any explanation that I've done that you think suddenly allowed you to understand more things, okay, and all those things. And if this video has been useful to you, before you click off, please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and even better, share my video on your social media so that your friends, your families, your schoolmates, everyone can see my video. And then because I'm teaching you something for free, right? So help me promote my channel for me in return, okay? So I'll be looking forward to see you scholars in my next video. And that will be all in today's video. Bye guys, see you.